We're going to be building a comment and reply system with PHP. It's a small CRUD application, and then I'm going to be demonstrating what we're going to be building prior to us getting into building the application. So I have Apache web server running. To make this easy for us, I've gone ahead to install XAMPP. So if you don't have XAMPP on your system, you can go on the internet and then search for XAMPP. And then when you click this download button, you have this kind of you have a page like this, and then you can download XAMPP for your particular operating system. XAMPP ships with PHP, MySQL database, Apache web server. So you can do that. And once your download is successful, you can just run the installer and then go through with the default installation procedures. I have XAMPP running already. This is my control panel. Okay, so this is my control panel. If you're on Windows, the Outlook might be different from what we have here, but just ensure you have your MySQL database running, Apache web server running. Ensure you have those running, and then you should be good to go. So I'm just going to run through a small demonstration of what we're going to be building. It's a small CRUD application. Usually when we implement this, we have a blog that takes comments and replies from users. So usually we would want our users to be authenticated before commenting or replying on our post. So we're going to implement all of that in this tutorial. I'm going to show you a small demonstration, and then we're going to re-implement everything from the beginning. So we have a banner here on our home page. We have a small search form in our navbar. When you look at the overall design, it's not quite gallant, but then it gets the job done. So like I said, it's just for demonstration purpose. So you can re-implement a better design on your hand, but I'm just going to stick with this anyway. So we have a featured post here, and then we have the rest of our post here. So we can click on any of this, and then it takes us to the blog view page. On our blog view page, we have the comment section. So here in the comment section, I have 2 comments on this post. I'm not logging at the minute, so it's telling me to log in to add comments. So this is the top level comments, and then this is the reply to these comments. Of course, I have to log in order to reply as well. So let's go back to our home page. There are other posts there that I believe do not have comments yet. So let's look at this. Okay, so this has 0 comments at the moment. Okay, so we're going to be adding comments to that. Here we can filter through our blog post. So if I have JavaScript, for instance, then press enter. These are all the posts related to JavaScript. So uh, let me open PHP my admin so I can do localhost. Once you have your exam running, you can do this in your browser. Localhost PHP my admin, and then click enter, and then we have these running. So here we can manage our database. We can create tables. We can write SQL queries. So for our demonstration, I have this database set up, comment and reply system. So if I click on this, see I have three tables: comment, post, users. Of course, I have gone ahead to register some users. So I have two users here, and then I think I've added some comments as well while testing locally. So we have two comments here. I think I showed you that, and then I have those posts that we saw. They are here. So we're going to re-implement this in the course of these tutorials. In the course of this tutorial, sorry. So let's go back to our application, and then let me log in with a user. I'm going to log in with, what is it? Is it johndoe at gmail.com? And then, I hope I remember the password. Okay, so we're logged in. You see, the navbar has changed. Now I have my username, and I have this logout button. Okay, so let's look for a post to comment on. I'm going to comment on JavaScript. Okay, so see, I'm logged in now. I have this comment form available to me. Before, I didn't have this. So I can comment JavaScript is fun. Thanks for sharing. Then I click post. Okay. So this is what we have. I can reply my own comments if I like. More of this, please. Okay, and then you can click submit. Of course, another user can come in and then reply this post. So I'm just going to log out from this, and then I'm going to log in with another account. So here, allgreen@gmail.com. Okay, now I'm logging as allgreen. So before we were adding comments to JavaScript. So let's go back to JavaScript, and then let's reply one of these. So I can do here. I am currently learning JavaScript. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for this article. Okay, then I can do submit. Now we have, if you look at the URL here, realize status is success. My intention is to keep this simple and concise, so I didn't include all the bells and whistles that usually you get when you take an application to production. So, like I said, this is just for educational purpose. You can enhance and improve on this on your hand. So I think by now we should have three comments. So this is the top comment by John Doe, and then John Doe has two replies. John Doe replied himself, and then there's another user here that is also replying John Doe like that. So I think that's all for the demonstration. We go back here, and then we're going to re-implement this by, okay, so here this gives us some information about our blog post. Anyway, I'm going to log out of this, and then I'm going to boot up. Okay, so for our starter code, let me show you. This is our starter code. I'm going to include a link to download these starter files in the description so you can get this started. This is just some boilerplate templates. As you can see, it doesn't include any PHP script at the minute. So I've included this markdown.sql, which contains the SQL queries that we're going to be running in the course of this tutorial. So all you have to do is just copy and paste. What else? I've gone ahead to style because this is not what is it called? This is not a CSS tutorial, so I don't want us to waste each other's time writing all of these CSS style sheets. So, and then I've included some images here. So we're going to be loading the image paths to these images in our database when we populate our post table manually. Okay, so this is register.php. I think so. I've renamed it as .php. Initially it was .html, and then this is our login.php. Okay, so it doesn't contain any PHP script at the moment. Okay, so what we need to do to get this working, these starter files, we need to take the folder and then go to here. You go to your XAMPP installation. So this is my XAMPP installation. So I'm going to open XAMPP, and then inside htdocs, I'm going to place it, the folder here. This is very important if we want our application to work. So we're placing it here. Okay. So then I can open it in my browser. So I'm going to close this, and then I'm going to open localhost. What did we call it? We call it comment and reply system, and then index.php. Okay, so this is our home page. You see, it looks, the design is the same, but then the blog posts are quite different. This image is broken at a minute because in our code, I was loading it from the internet. So so this is locally, and then this is from the internet. See, HTTPS. I think I've been disconnected from the internet. So, but that's not to worry. We're going to fix that in the course of this tutorial. So, the first thing we need to do is to hook our application to the database, and the way to do that is to create our database. So I'm going to go back to PHP my admin, and then I'm going to create a new database. So I'm going to do new, and then I'm going to name a database. What should I call it? Let's call it comment reply system, like that. Then I'm going to click create. So this has created a new database for us. So I'm going to click this. Okay, so now we have our database here. Now the next thing is to hook our application to our database. So we're going to create a config file inside our PHP script, uh, inside our project files. So here I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call it PHP, and then in here I'm going to create the config file, config.php. So I'm going to be using MySQL extension because we're using MySQL database. You can use PDO extension if you like, but like I said, I intend to keep this simple. So I'm going to be using MySQL extension to connect to our database. So to do that, we can start off with PHP, and then we can do we can define our database credentials. So DB server, localhost. In the cost of installing XAMPP, if you just go through the default installation options, you don't have to change anything here. So what else do we have? We have a DB username. Okay, username. I think the default is root. If you didn't change it, this should work. And then we have define. We can define what's that? Our DB name. Okay, before that, let's do password. I didn't add any password when I installed XAMPP. So this is empty string. If you added password while running your XAMPP installation, then you have to add a password here. I didn't add any password, so it's just empty string. And then here we can have DB database name. Okay, so our database name, what did I call it? I think I call it comment reply system. So these has to be the same as what we have here. This database name. So let me check. So it's comment reply system. So we're good. Okay. So after this, we can instantiate MySQL. So we do new MySQL, and then we pass these credentials as an argument. So we can do DB server, then we can do DB username, and then we can do DB password, and then we can do DB name. Okay. Now we need to check if we run into some kind of error, so we have to undo that. So the way we do that is to do if, then we have this, if we get some kind of a connect error, then what do we want to do? Then we can die database connection error, and then we can concatenate what is it, this connect error, like that. So That's fine. So this is our configure file. We're going to be including this inside our PHP script as we move ahead. So I believe after this, the next thing we should do is to register our user. But then before we register our user, we have to create a users table. So to do that, I'm going to go here inside our markdown.sql, and then I'm going to copy this. I'm going to copy, and I'm going to go back to our browser. So inside our database, I'm going to click this SQL tab, and I'm going to paste this here. So then I'm going to click this go. Okay, so now we have users table created for us. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. Our ID is a primary key. It's on auto increment. So these are the columns that we're going to be adding in our PHP script. So let's go back to our code, and then here inside our register.php. So there are two ways I'm going to do this. I'm going to write, we can include PHP scripts inline, of course, and then we can create a separate folder or file outside of our template. We can even do both together. So for the register.php, I'm going to be writing our PHP script for handling our registration inside our register.php atop these HTML templates. That's what I'm going to be doing. So here I'm going to do PHP like this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to require this config.php file. Remember, our config.php is the file that is that contains our database credentials. So since we're going to be writing our PHP script for handling user registration here, the first thing we have to require it. So we do require. So require once. So here, PHP, then config.php, like that. Okay. So having done that, the next thing we are going to do is we're going to start writing the script for our user registration. Okay, so to start with, I can do, let me initialize the variables. Username, at a minute I'm going to set this to empty string. Then email, I'm going to set this to empty string. Then password, I'm going to set this to empty string. And then what else? Confirm password, confirm pass, I'm going to set this to empty string. And then we're going to be handling errors in our program. So in our, So to do that, I'm going to do name error. This is for error regarding our inputs. Then I can do, what is it? Pass error, that's password error. Set this on empty string. What else? Email error, email error. So I'm going to set this to empty string as well. So I'm going to implement a try catch, but then what I would want us to do is I would want us to be able to catch errors relating to our database. Remember, we're using a MySQL extension to connect to our database. So we're going to handle that so that we can catch exceptions pertaining to our database. So if server and now request method request method is equals to post. Can we stick with, so if we're sending a post request to a server, then we're going to handle what we have here. So I'm going to do try catch. Okay. We said we're going to be handling MySQL error reports. So in order for us to do that, we're going to have to do this. So we can do MySQL report, and here we have we can have MySQL report error. Okay, MySQL report error. MySQL report script. I'm not getting my spelling correctly. Okay, so this is going to allow us to catch exceptions related to our database. So let me do that here inside catch. Then I can do catch MySQL SQL exception. I'm going to set a variable here, and then in here we're going to do error log. Error log is this variable. Then we're going to get message on it. Come on now, get message like that. So we can also echo database error occurred. Okay, so let's keep it simple, and then we can also catch exception E, and then here we can do if error get message if this is equals to duplicate data, then what do we want to do? We want to our name here, then we say username or email is okay, already exists. And then okay, we're going to handle finally here. We've not written any code yet, any script in our try block. So before I implement that, we have to write the code in our try block first. So let's get into this. Can have a username. Let's trim this, and then we can have we can take our post variable, post, and then here we pass, I think it's name. Here, what is it? Our name attribute for full name is name. Okay, so that's name, so that should work. And what else? We have a password. We can trim this as well. And then we have a post variable, and then we call that password. Oh, let me do this so that since we didn't set this default now, so in the event that something get bypassed, we get an empty string. Okay, so what else? We can do email. We can trim this, and then we can pass our post variable email like that. And then the next one is confirm pass. You can trim this as well, and then pass our post variable, confirm pass. So that's what I call it. Okay, now we need to check okay, we have to handle our errors. So to do that, we can say if username is empty, username, then what do we want to do? We want to set name error to username is empty. Okay, so we also have to do for email. Say if email is empty, then we can do email error is equals to email cannot be empty, like that. We also have for password, then say if password is empty, password, if this is empty, then we can set our pass error to password cannot be empty, like that. What else do we have to do? We also have to filter our email. So I think in order to do that, let's go back here. If email is empty, then I can do else if. So to filter our email, because we want to ensure the users are, although we're not sending some kind of validation or authentication email, but then it still makes sense that we are inputting the correct format for our emails. So to undo this, we have this upper function in PHP known as filter var. So what this filter var does is it takes a value, and the value we are passing is email, and then what type of filter? In our case, it is filter validate email. So we have filter validate email. So this is going to validate our email for us. It's going to check our email to see whether it's validated. So which means we have to negate this. So which means if this didn't validate, okay, so we can also set our email error to invalid email address, like that. Okay, so what else do we want to handle? I think we're done with our basic validation. The next thing is to check whether our validation passed. So we are still inside our try block. So the next thing we can do, if we didn't get any error, no, one more thing, we have to check whether our password has the required length. So here we say if empty password, then we can do else if string length of our password, yeah, if it's less than 6, so we want minimum of 6, then we can say pass error, say password has to be at least 6 characters, 6 characters long, like that. Okay, we also have to check whether our password matches our, so we do else if password it's not equals to confirm password. So if that's not the case, then we can set our pass error to password and confirm, what is it? Confirm password must be the same. Okay. So after this, then we need to check whether our validation passes. So this is like database checks if validation passed. Okay, so now we can do if our name error is empty and our email error is empty and our password error is empty, pass error is empty, then we're going to run the script inside here. We are still inside our try block. Okay, so we're going to run the script inside here if we didn't get any error. And then the first thing we want to do is to check whether a username or email already exists. So we do check if username or email exists, because we want a unique username and email. So we have SQL, then we can do select ID from users, select ID from users, where username, so username is the column in our user table, is the query we're passing, or email is this query, and then we can set the limit, set the limit to 1, like that. Okay. And then we need our statement, prepare statement, which is our connection object. So this connection object is the connection that we set here. And now remember, we have required it up here. So we can make use of it here for our prepare statement. So we have prepare, and then we're going to pass our SQL query here, like that. And then we can bind params to our prepare statement. Here we can bind param. We are querying our database for 2 fields, username and email, and they're both of type string, so that's SS. If they're integers, it's going to be II. Okay, so now we have to set what is it called now? We have to set our variable. So I'm just going to call that what we have before, username and then email, like that. And then we have to execute this query statement rather. Okay, so statement, and then execute, like that. Okay, and then we have to fetch our results. So result is a statement, get result. Okay, now we have to check if we got any result. So if the number of num rows in our result is greater than 0, that means the name or email already exists. Then we can say row equals result. Then we have associative array here, fetch assoc, like that. And then we can throw an exception, throw new exception. So the message we're going to send is, okay, the exception is of duplicate data. Okay, so that's for our email and username. And then outside of this, we can insert into our database. So insert into database. So what do? We can do okay, so now let's have a SQL query, and then we can do insert into users. Let it braid. Username, this is the name of our column. Email, password. Okay, then for our values, since we have three rows, okay, so we have 3 question marks, like that. And then we have to prepare our statement for this as well. Then we have our connection objects, prepare, and then we pass SQL into it, like that. Okay, we have to hash our password. So to do that, we have hashed password. So it's going to be, so we're going to use PHP password hash. So this is an EPA method for us that PHP allows us to use to hash our password. So we're going to pass our password here, and then the algorithm we're going to use is password default, like that. So this is going to hash our password so that we don't store empty string in our database. Okay, so now we have to bind param statement. No, trying to bind param. So three inputs, all string, so that's SSS. So here we have username, these are variables, email, and then no, so this is going to be hashed password, because this one is going to be hashed password. And then we can execute. So statement execute, like that. And then when we succeed, we're going to have a header. So header, location, we are here. So for our location, we're going to go to login.php. So that's login.php. And then let's append a message registration equals to success. Okay, so our login.php is on the same level as this. So this is what we're doing. And then let's exit, like that. Okay, now we can populate our finally block. So here we can do if is set, what is it called now? If is set statement, then we need to close our statement close, like that. And then we have to close our connection as well. Connection close, like that. Okay. These error variables, we have to populate our form with them. So first thing I'm going to do, okay, method is post action. So the script is in the same file as our template. So I think this should work for this. And the next thing we're going to do is I want the body of our inputs to be read if we encounter any error. So here I'm going to do class, like that, then PHP, okay. So here I'm going to echo, I'm going to have a ternary statement here. Say if name error is not empty, so if this is not empty, I'm going to have this input error. Otherwise I'm just going to have empty string here. And then I'm going to do that for the remaining. So I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to copy this. Oh God. So let me copy this. I don't know what is wrong with this. So I can copy this and then I'm going to paste there in the email. Okay, so here it has to be email error. So this input error class, let me show you. Form style, where is it? Input, where is input error? So I'm still gonna handle this later. So let's go back here. So And then for our password and confirm password, see, we already have a class error, so we shouldn't forget that. And then here, just gonna do password inputs. We had this before this, so this is gonna be pass error. The same thing we're gonna do here. So I'm gonna do is it password input? Okay, so here is going to be pass error. Okay, I'm going to include a span here at the bottom of our input tag. So I'm going to start up with here, then I'm going to span error message. I think error message. I think that's the class. Okay, and then here I have to do a check, say PHP, say if what is it called, if name error is not empty. Okay, if name error is not empty, then we should echo out the error here. So echo name error. Okay, and then I have to end if here, PHP, and then I do end if, like that. So this is going to display our validation error at the bottom of our input. So I'm going to copy this and paste it here. But here I'm going to change it to email error. Okay, so this is going to be email error. Okay, and then the next one, so this is going to be pass error, and then this is going to be pass error. Let me format this. Anyway, you get the idea. So here too, I'm going to put it here, and then this is pass error, like that. Okay. I don't think I have any PHP extension set up for us, which would have allowed me to format this. Let me see. Okay, not a problem. We get the idea. So with this setup, let's check whether we can register a user. So let's go to our browser, and then this is our application here. Let me refresh, and then let's go to login, then let's go to register. Okay, now I have an error here. It says on call to undefined MySQL. Okay, I think I made a mistake there. Line 4, so this should be MySQL report error. Sorry about that. And then here, if I refresh, okay, now we have a form up and running. So let's try to register and see whether our validation works. John Doe, and then here I can do John Doe at gmail.com. Okay, and then here in our password, let's see, I just passed John And then here I have John Doe. Let's see whether we get our validation. Okay, so our validation is working, guys. See, password has to be at least 6 characters long. Password has to be at least 6 characters long. Okay, so this is working. So let's see. Let's try to register the correct thing. John Doe. And then here we can do John Doe at gmail.com. And then here we can do John User. And then here we can do John User as well. Okay. Fingers crossed. Let's see. Okay, so this works. We get registration success. I think I messed up my spelling here, but then you get the idea. So that's done. Let's go and write the script for our login. So let's go back to here. Inside our login.php, I'm also going to include the login script inside our, what is it called? Our login. So our login template. So here, I'm going to go up here. Okay, so I think I'll have the session start. Then I'm including, what is it called? I'm including our configure file here. So we should be good to go. So the next thing is to get our MySQL report. Okay. So here we have, I'm going to have MySQL report. MySQL report error. MySQL report strict. MySQL report strict. Like that. Okay. We have to check whether we're already logged in. So to do that, we can do if is set. Remember, we have a session started. So if is set, session variable, session. So we have logged in. We're going to set this later, but we're just checking now to see whether, and then session logged in. If it's set to true, okay, so what do? We can do header, and then for location we can go to index.php. Okay, so another thing is we have to handle, what is it called now? We have to handle some errors related to login that we might encounter. So I always forget this exit method. Okay, so the next thing we can do, identify error, set that to string, and then we can do pass error, set that to string as well. And then we can do login error, we set that to empty string as well. Now we have to do if our server request request method, if it's post. Okay, so we're making a post request. If it's post, now we're going to run the code inside this code block, and then we're going to do try catch like we did the other time. Okay, so let's implement our try catch. We're going to catch what is it called? We're gonna catch MySQL SQL extension. So MySQL SQL extension, no, exception. What am I doing? Exception. Then this variable if, then like we did it the other time, or maybe I should just copy and paste. Anyway, I don't want to get lazy. So we can do our error log, and then we can get the get message on our variable. Okay, so this logs our error if we encountered any database related error. Otherwise, we're going to set our login error to, so let's call system error. Please try again. Okay, so that's that. And then we can catch exception, catch exception. You can set our variable here, and then what we want to do, we can set login error to this. So let's get message. Get message like that. Okay, and then before we go to our finally, we have to write our, what is it called? No, finally, we have to write our script in our try block. Okay, so let's undo that. Okay, we want to be able to, okay, let me implement this. Identity equals to trim. Okay, trim. In our login.php, what do we have here? It has to be in line with our variable name. Okay, so in our login.php, let's see what we have. So email ID. So we want to email or username. We want to be able to log in with email or username. So I'm going to call this name. I'm going to call it identity, like that. And then I'm going to, this password, I'm going to call it name is password. Okay, so let's go back to our try block. Okay, so identity, so let's pass our post variable here, post, then we pass that identity, the name attribute that we just confirmed. Okay, let's do this. Sorry. And then the password, you can trim that as well, and we can pass our post variable. I think that's password. Okay. Then we have to handle some basic validation. That's going to lead us to setting our errors. So we say if identity is empty, so identity can be our username or email, then we can set identity error to Please enter your username. Please enter username or email, like that. Okay. We have to do for password as well. Let me say if password is empty, password, is it password or pass? Okay, I did pass. Okay, then we can do pass error. Please enter your password. Okay, so for the basic validation, then if we didn't encounter any error, and then we can do if our errors are empty, identity error, and empty pass error, okay, only then should this code run. Okay, now we have to look up into our database to verify our credentials. Okay, so now let's have our SQL. Then we can do select ID, not that, sorry, ID, username, email, password, from users, where username is the query we sent, or email is the query set like this. Okay, and then we can limit 1. All right, so the next thing, we need to prepare our statement. Okay, so we can have a statement, and then we call our connection object like we did when we register. Then we prepare our SQL statement. So we pass SQL here, and then let's bind param. Okay, and then we do bind param. So it's username and email. Oh, sorry, it's username, email, or password. So username or email and password. So 2 strings. And then we're going to set our variable identity, and then identity as well. Okay, so we have to execute. Then we have a statement, execute, like that, and then let's fetch result. Statement get result. Okay, and then for our row, we have a result. Then we can fetch associative array. Okay, now we have to verify credentials. Verify credentials. Okay, so if row, and then no, and so we have this upper method in PHP known as password verify. This verifies our password. So let's pass, and then let's get password from our row. So if this passed, then we can set session and set our session variable logged in. Sorry, equals to true. Okay. And then we can set our user session as well. Session user is equals to row, like that. Then our header is location. Location is index.php. Okay. And then I shouldn't forget to exit this time. Okay. So now we can implement our finally block. So if, let me go back to our final block. Where is it? Okay, so now say if is set statement, then we can close our statement. Statement close, like that. And then we can close our connection as well. Connection close, like that. Okay. I think that's what we need to do regarding our script. Then inside our login.php, we have to handle some things to input our errors. Okay, so let's go to, okay, we're here inside our login.php already. So let's see what we have here. Where's the form? So this is our form. We have to set the method. Action is empty string here because the script is in the same file. Then method is a post, like that. And then like we did the other time, let me just copy this here. I'm gonna copy and paste here. Where is it? What is it? What is what we did the other time? Okay, this one, this class. Okay, so I'm gonna copy this. Copy, then back to login.php. I'm going to do class here. So this is going to be if identity error is not empty. I'm coming. I need to be sure I'm typing the right thing. Okay, identity error. So we get input error here. And then for our password, so we already have password input here. So we shouldn't forget that. What is it? Okay, so here we can do copy, and then here we have to pass password input because that's what we have there before. And then here is going to be, I think it's going to be pass error. If pass error is not empty, pass error. Okay, so another thing I would like us to do is to use this span that we use in the previous. So I'm just going to copy this. So go back to login.php, and then here at the bottom of our inputs, I'm going to place this here. I'm going to say, okay, so this is going to be identity error if identity error is not empty, then let's echo identity error here. I'm going to pass the same thing into our password. So here's going to be navigating on any Apple product can be quite tricky. Pass, okay, and then pass like that. What else do we need to do here? I think we're good if our script runs, then we shouldn't have any issue here. But then fingers crossed, we'll see. Okay, so let me save this, and then let's go to our browser. So we had John Doe. Okay, so let me show you what we've done so far. So this is our comment reply. This is our users table. Then we have John Doe here. See, our password has been hashed. So let's try to log in with user John Doe. Let's use the email this time, johndoe@gmail.com, and then I think the password is John user. Okay, let's see whether our validation works. If I do John, what does it say? It doesn't work. Oh, okay, I don't think I undo the validation for wrong password. Okay, I think I only did for, so if I do submit, okay, field is field, johndoe@gmail.com. Then if I did this empty, and I try to submit, fill out this field. So this validation is, what is it called? Is what we have here. This is the native HTML validation that we are getting here. So to test whether our validation from our server works. So this is good practice anyway. In the event that you run into some kind of error inside our script, the validation is still going to work. So I'm going to remove required here, and then let's see. So I want to see whether that validation works. So this is johndoe@gmail.com, and then here, if I didn't put anything, what's going to happen? Okay, so our validation is working. The validation on the server end is working. So it says please enter password. If I enter password, John user, and then here I didn't enter anything. You see, we also have that red border and then the span. So if I click enter, okay, I still have that required there. Okay, anyway, it still get the job done. So I'm going to do this back, and then we're going to go back here. So our validation is working. Cancel, register, login. So I'm going to do john@gmail.com. Then I'm going to do John user here. John user. Then let's see, fingers crossed. Okay. We're logged in. The reason we're not getting John here is because, let me show you. Inside in our index.php, we've not undone our session inside our navbar. So let me just go ahead and do that so that our user information can be displayed. So let's go into index.php, and then I'm going to do session start here to capture our session. So PHP, then I'm going to do session start. Session start here. Okay. And then I'm going to include so PHP, then config.php. Okay. So the next thing is to write some kind of conditions for which we are going to display our user information inside our navbar. So here in our navbar, let me see, we have devstorm, and then here we have these two. Okay, so let me just cut out this for now, and then I can write some PHP script here. Then I can say if is set, if our session is set, let's go session logged in. Remember we set this inside our logged in template the other time when we wrote our script for our login. We set this. If this is set, and then session logged in is equals to true. This is equals to true. Okay, then what do we want to do? I'm going to pass what is it called, the UL there. I'm going to paste it back. Okay, so here we have home. I would like to have one more here, one more link, li rather, and then here I'm going to paste, and then here no, this doesn't go anywhere. Then I'm going to pass my user session here, so here, and then I'm going to do underscore session. Remember we set our user session inside our login. Hold on, I'm going to show you now. User, then we want to pass, I want to get the username here, so that's what we want to echo here. And then I would also like we have a logout button here, so logout, and class, let's call this btn red. I believe I've defined that class in our style sheet, and then this should go to logout.php. We don't have that at the minute. We're going to write that. Okay, so if this is the case, then let's have this conditional rendering, and then else what do we want to do? We can just paste what we had before now. I think I copied it. Oh, so that doesn't work. Okay, so copy here, copy, then paste. Okay, so home, uh, we had btn the other time. So this is login. So it's just btn, it's not btn, right? We're not catching, we're not displaying any username session here. So this goes. So it's going to be as before. And then we have to end if here. PHP and if, like that. So if this works, we should have, so let's go back, refresh. Okay. I think this thing about, what is it called? The BTN red, I don't think I have written the CSS like I believed. Then we can just leave it for now anyway. I think this is getting okay. Anyway, we get the idea. I think I'm going to stop for now, and then we're going to come back and then implement the rest of our code. So when we get back, I'm going to have this logout button working. So the way to do that is to come here and then do, what is it called? Create a logout.php. Oh, okay. So this is wrong. I should delete this. It's not supposed to be there. For our logout.php, so what I intend to do is here. So let's do logout.php. Okay. And then let's have PHP here. Then we can do ob start. Go back up. ob start. And then we can do session start. These are all global hyper functions in PHP. And then we can include, what is it called? We can include our config.php. And then we can do session destroy. Use another helper method in PHP. And then when we do that, since we are not required to log in to view the application, then we can head back to, we can stay in our index.php. Do I need to exit here? Okay. Let me just close. Let me take the liberty of closing this. Okay. So refresh, and then if I do logout, sure enough, we get our login button back. So guys, I'm going to stop here for this part, and when we come back, we're going to continue implementing the rest of our APIs. So